It's 5:30 here on the Truman State Campus, and welcome to TMN Television. I'm Charles Mahood. Coming up tonight, we give you the latest details on the recent killing of a Ferguson activist, and later, we take a look at the $1 Million Track project on the dog pound. These stories and more on TMN Television. You don't want to miss this. The body of a Ferguson protest leader, Darren Seals, was found dead early Tuesday morning in a car that had been set on fire. According to the police accounts, Seals was found with a gunshot wound in Riverview. According to the St. Louis County Police Department, the vehicle had been on fire, but he was found after the flames were extinguished. The motive for the killing is unknown, and the death has sent shock and grief through the community of activists in Missouri. A candlelight vigil was held Tuesday night, where more than 100 people gathered to remember Seals. Libertarian presidential nominee Gary Johnson is under fire due to his interview on MSNBC with Mike Barnicle this morning. During Johnson's interview with Barnicle, Barnicle asked Johnson, quote, "What would you do if you were elected about Aleppo?" Johnson was unsure what Aleppo was, and after Barnicle clarified Aleppo is a major city in Syria, Johnson says, quote, "It's a mess. No one is taking this more seriously than me. I feel horrible." Since this interview, social media has been discrediting the candidate. Just this week, a Syrian government aircraft dropped suspected chlorine bombs on residents in Aleppo, injuring 71 citizens. Aleppo has been the worst hit city during the Syrian civil war since 2011. And as TMN keeps you updated about the upcoming presidential election, make sure you're registered to vote in Adair County and have an absentee ballot. Today, Delta Sigma Theta has a publicity table in the Student Union building which allows students to fill out absentee request forms. These forms allow the ballots for the election in November to be sent directly to a student's school address. If you are interested in voting with an absentee ballot, you can access the ballot request form on www.sos.mo.gov. On Tuesday, Will Chanel, Nikki Sisson, and Evan Spencer were named preseason All-Americans by collegeswimming.com. Only 121 swimmers from 38 institutions are selected for this honor, and the athletes were selected based on competition times. According to TrumanBulldogs.com, Chanel was selected for his 200-meter butterfly and 400-meter individual medley. Sisson was honored for the 100-meter freestyle, and Spencer for the 100-meter backstroke, 100-meter butterfly, and 200-meter individual medley. Both the women's and men's swimming teams will begin their season with the Bulldog Alumni Meet on Saturday, September 24th at home in Pershing. Coming up next, we will discuss the robberies that took place this summer. We'll be right back.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
After many robberies this summer, Adair County residents were able to pick up stolen items last week. Let's take a look. At least 20 burglaries were reported in Adair County and surrounding counties between May 1st and the middle of August. Counties who reported burglaries include Macon, Sullivan, and Schuyler. No patterns have been found in the burglaries reported, and multiple individuals have been arrested and charged. Victims of the burglaries were able to pick up their belongings on Tuesday, August 30th through Thursday, September 1st at the Adair County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Robert T. Hardwick says owners must take necessary steps in order to protect their belongings.
it starts with the individual renter, property owner. You have to protect your stuff. You have to do what you can to protect your stuff. Identify it, serial numbers, photograph it, lock your doors, turn on lights.
Stay tuned as Seth Wolfmeyer updates us on the recent events in Truman sports during the Dog Pound.
As your agent, I want to welcome you, Todd. You hungry? Todd's hungry. You like burgers?
I like burgers.
Of course you do. This is a classic. Double meat and cheese, grilled onions, Thousand Island.
Can I tag you?
Absolutely. Thanks for the burger.
You know I get 10% of that. It's a joke. I get 20% of that. Woo! They're not allowed to shout with me.
The Hardees Classic Combo for just $4.99. Only at Hardees.
Hello and welcome to the Dog Pound, always brought to you by Hardees. I'm Seth Wolfmeyer. $1 million project to redo the track and field is being planned right now. Bidding for contracts to do the project should start this semester. The project will hopefully be finished by fall 2017. Stoke Stadium is the home to Truman's football field and track. Over the course of a year, football games, track meets, and team practices are held in the stadium. Both the track and field are showing signs of wear, with the track needing a replacement before Truman hosts the GLVC Outdoor Track and Field Championship in a few years. Vice President of Administration and Finance David Rector says the project will be funded by the athletic fee each student pays.
I know Jerry Wolmerine and others then talked to the Student Athletic Fee Committee about it, and so because of the price of it, we have to kind of put 2 years worth of most of the athletic fee together to pay for it. So this is going to be funded by that athletic fee that you pay.
Rector says some of the money to pay for the project is already saved from previous years, while the rest of the funding will come from this year.
Built up already, and so there'll be enough to cover it with what we collect this year, because this is basically going to happen. Well, the paying of the bills will primarily happen next summer.
Campus planner Mark Schultz says the cost to redo the track and field will likely be around $750,000 each. The official price will not be known until the contract bidding process is complete. Schultz says only the track must be redone now as it is not up to standards, but it's better to redo the track and field at the same time to avoid complications. Schultz says one of the problems with the stadium is its location. The track and field are near the bottom of several slopes, putting them in a drainage area. To keep this from being a problem, there are several pipes running underneath the field which direct water away. However, during a heavy rain, water pressure can cause the field to become flooded. The university would also like to renovate the press box above the grandstands if there is enough funding left over after paying for the track and field. Schultz says it would likely cost around $1.5 million to renovate the press box, a total higher than the university would like to spend. If the university cannot get a low enough contract for the press box, it will likely not happen this year. Track and field head coach Tim Schwegler says the athletic community at Truman was given say in the project to ensure it would benefit athletes. The project will not only be a resurfacing of the track and field, but will also be a redesign. Schwegler says the track will take on a new shape which will allow the field to widen.
Right now we have 100-meter straights, 100-meter curves. It'll change to more of a European model where you can put a soccer field in the middle. So the straightaways will be a little shorter, but the curves will be a little longer, which is fine. There's several tracks like that that we compete on. They're just as fast as the other ones, so it works out real good.
Schwegler says the redesign will also move many of the field events, such as the long jump and pole vault, to the north side on the practice field. Schwegler says this will make it easier to have multiple events going on at once during a track and field meet, while also making it easier to practice while the football team is on the field. Schwegler says work on the field will be during track and field season, so the team will have to find other places to practice.
But we'll try to work out with the high school. The only problem with the high school, under NCAA rules, we can't practice at the same time the high school does. So we'll have to practice early in the afternoon or later in the afternoon after they get done. And that's not going to be a problem in February, January, February. But then March and April it will.
Contracts for the project are planned to be in before spring semester of this year, with the project finishing around July or August 2017. Reporting to you for the Truman Media Network, I'm Seth Wolfmeyer.
And that brings us to the end of our news program. Be sure to check out our exclusive web content at tmn.truman.edu. Also, make sure to check out TMN Television on YouTube and TMN's new Facebook and Twitter page. From all of us here at TMN Television, thank you for tuning in, and have a great rest of the week.